Has the ATF dealt a death blow to the privately made firearms community? We'll talk about it tonight. What up, what up, what up? What's up, folks? What's going on, man? Welcome to another episode of the FTQ. Oh, no, not FTQ. Builders Tribe. Man, I tell you what, I'm so used to saying FTQ 80%. But you know what? We still believe in first-time quality. So the Builders Tribe is always about that. So, but I wanted to welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to another year. 2023. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to get this thing started, man, because we got some fun things coming up. As you saw in the thumbnail, says new year, new groove, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of things as far as this channel, as far as what's coming forward, what's coming, what we can expect from our government, what we can expect, and everything. I'm sure a lot of you saw the open letter that came out last Tuesday, and I'm actually still perusing it. But we're going to talk about it anyway, because I'm sure the tribe that's in the comments, I'm sure they have gone over it and have a lot to share. So with that being said, I just want to introduce my cohorts, my partners, the dudes that help keep this channel going, even in the background, even when they're not here. None other than my man Nos Veritas. What's going on, Nos?
Hey everybody, glad to see y'all. Hopefully everybody's having a good day, good new year. Let's bring our other compatriot in here, huh?
What's going on, Mr. Weapon XYZ?
All right. And of course, you know, we couldn't do this without everybody out there. Let's give our shout out, shall we? We got Tom Petrick waiting in the wings. Darth Deb, how you doing? Hawkeye, you got it coming in hot. All right, Mr. Vino, Blade. Oh, I see. I went to go click on his name, and Danny Zuko got it in front of me there. We got Danny Zuko. Hey, Danny Zuko. Mr. Vino, how you doing? Blade Boy, good to see y'all. All right. Hey, Happy New Year's, everyone, and all of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for that, man. Welcome everybody, man. We definitely glad everybody. Please get this. Okay.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, you know. Welcome everybody, and like I said, Happy New Year. Let's take care of the housekeeping first. Listen, guys, if this is your first time watching and you have a question, go ahead and put 4 question marks in the chat and then post your question. That way it helps us keep track of the questions without having to run through and try and, you know, go through all of the chat. At least the question marks will allow us to pull it out, pull it to the side, so we can definitely answer your question or address any concerns that you may have. And if this is your first time, you'll quickly figure out that our format is kind of loose and fast, you know, fast and loose, you know, like, anyway, and we kind of get off
like
into
my
the
sense
weeds
of morals.
Yeah, you know, that's
a different stream entirely.
That dude right there, morally loose. Anyway, but other than that, guys, you know, if you want to join us, I don't know, somebody can post the link to join us as a guest in the chat. I'm sure one of the gentlemen to my left or to my bottom.
There's a link.
Sound right.
There's a link right down there in the chat right now.
Right.
If you want to join us, you click on that. You close your YouTube window so you can join us live without an echo.
Yeah.
Echo.
Yeah, the echo is kind of crazy, but yeah. So with that being said, example question here. Yeah, okay. I usually don't look at the chat. With these two gentlemen here, I'm going to turn my chat off, and they'll let me know if I need to talk to address anything that's on there, because the chat will just distract me, especially when Weapon decides to post things about neutering cats and dogs. Tonight's going to be kind of fun. We're going to announce some things that's coming up this year. Not a new format, but we're kind of going to go back to an old format we had on the previous channel. If you're around then, you'll know what we're talking about. But
let me pause for just a quick second.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody just got an email from Rook Tactical, but check your emails. They're releasing a new product called the Uno.
I did just get an email.
It is a all-in-one jig.
All right.
All-in-one jig?
All right.
And see if I can... Ram, I'm going to try to share this to...
Don't.
No.
Nope. Don't share it up here.
Oh, no, I'm not going to share it up there. I'm going to share it to you and Nas. You guys can watch it.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I imagine if Rook puts it out, at least it'll be accurate. They're well known for accuracy. So let's see how that goes.
Well, I just got the notification to
product teaser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was one jig to rule them all. Okay.
Oh. All right.
Anyways, continue. I had to pause there as soon as I saw it. I was like, wait, hold up.
We'll put it up on the forum. And if you guys are here and you're not part of the forum, I'm sure Mr. Nas is about to put the address right on the screen for you, right along the bottom.
That will be changing in the near future, though.
Yes, that'll be changing very near. That's one of the things that I want to talk about today. Coming up, we got some new segments that are going to come up. Mr. Weapon is going to revitalize his MacGyver Minute segment. Excellent. We got a lot of things coming up. But Mr. Hawkeye, since we're talking about the future and what's coming up, Mr. Hawkeye is going to lend us his customizing expertise and do a segment at least once a month. So for the next 12 months, we got 12 items that he is going to show us how to customize and give us step-by-step how to do the customization. So he's working with me right now with my first attempt at making a magwell become part of the frame and make it look seamless. So this was my first time doing it. If you've been on the forum and you've seen my post about my G20 that I decided to on January 1st finish it off, he's been working with me hand in hand to get that thing done. So it's going to look pretty. It's not going to look as good as his, I guarantee you. I've seen one of his recent builds, and he gave me a sneak peek as to it's almost finished, and I'm just like, he's the master of custom. Okay, I might be one of the masters of Gucci, but he's the master of custom, and that's actually going to be a show, Gucci versus custom. So
all right,
that's going to be a fun one. Since we just did Plain Jane versus Gucci, we're going to do Gucci versus custom next.
Yeah, and sorry I missed out on that one, but I did, of course, watch it after the fact. And I want to say I do definitely agree with the comment on the P320 that had the Stormtrooper bottom and the colored on upper. That slide's going to get recolored. It was not my color pick, but
dude, drop it in the mail. I got the Stormtrooper white paint on the way, so drop it in the mail.
All right.
I got you.
You should show off the new piece you gave us a preview of, but in your own time, of course. In your own time.
I'm hoping that to be done this week, man. I got to put another coat of JB Weld on the magwell, so I'm hoping that's done this week.
Cool. Blade Boy says the Uno is crazy cool looking. Just FYI, that's all right. Good.
Is it a jig for the P80s?
Here, hold on, buddy. Check the comments right now.
Right, I was getting ready to say that. Works on all frames, including the GST9 and Mod 1. Huh.
Well, that's pretty dang handy.
PF940C, V2, SC, SS, SS80, GST9 Mod 1, and the Freedom Wolf. Doesn't say anything about a Strike 80, but I'm sure it does because I believe the Strike 80 and the PF940C, the jigs are essentially interchangeable. It just one says Strike 80 on it, the other one doesn't.
Yes,
exactly. They actually are a little different, but because the Strike 80 is thicker than the 940C.
Right. I know people that have used the CJ.
I'm sure you can make it work if you
right.
I'm sure you can make it work.
Put that tape together, you got it.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of which, I had to order me some new Brad Point bits, man. I went to drill that G20 and it got stuck halfway through it. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I went for the plunge and it plunged halfway through and it stopped. And I had the Dremel at full speed. I'm like, what the hell? And then when I ended up having to use a polymer 83 millimeter bit because I couldn't find my 7/64 bit, but that almost got stuck as well. I'm like, what in the hell? Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's my Dremel. Maybe my Dremel's losing some power. I don't know, but I won't be using that on the next one. I ordered some new bits, so hopefully that'll work.
Yeah. Get your milkshake maker working.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So guys, as promised last week, and I didn't get them up the way I want them just yet, but if you go to the forum, you will see everything that was sent to me that's set up for the giveaway. Nas, which folder is that again? Because I can't remember offhand.
There's a Builders Tribe bonuses.
Yeah.
Which you know what?
There's some good stuff in there, man.
Through the magic of the StreamYard and comments, guess what? There's a link down there right now.
Cool.
Boom. So
I'm going to separate them into separate folders. Huh?
You do have to be a member. Real quick and easy to sign up. As long as you're not in Russia, it's fine.
Yeah, you should have seen me trying to get in when I was over in Spain. I think my password still is jacked up because I have to sign in every time I want to get on the FTQ80 page.
Most of the time it's fine unless you happen to travel through a VPN that goes, overseas through Russia and there's a couple of really choice spam house VPN endpoints that sorry, but most of the trouble comes from them, and it's easier to just block them than try and block every horrible spam bot account. Oh
yeah, well, you and I'll be working on figuring out why
we'll get there.
I'm getting bumped out. I've actually had to re-sign in while trying to make a post.
Well, that hopefully won't be an issue.
Signed in when I started.
Go ahead, Ren.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that this year too.
Yeah, I said I have to sign in every time now, but I have my password saved, so it's just a quick face app.
Yeah, thing, same here.
Yeah,
but
anyway,
we're gonna fix that because we're gonna be transitioning over to the new site soon as Nas is able to work on it, because he is a very, very busy man right now. So I don't want to monopolize his time, but as soon as we can get together and he can start working on it, as soon as it's ready to go, he'll let us know.
We'll be talking like
so. Anyway, like I was about to say, the items are there. There's one or two items that I don't have personally here that I have to take a screenshot and post up. I just didn't have a chance to do that yet. But the pictures of what was sent to me are there. Some are twisted sideways because I didn't even have time to rotate them or anything. However, there's some really cool stuff in there. I know one of the things I saw was stainless steel G17 guide rod. Damn it. Recoil spring and guide rod. And there was a couple of G19 rods in there.
Yeah, recoil spring assemblies. Yeah,
recoil spring assemblies. A bunch of now, guys. If you're not into stippling, I know I'm into stippling. I know weapon stipples. Nas, I'm not sure. Have you done stippling yet?
I need to get into it. Actually, I was just talking with Weapon the other day about an idea I had for one, but I need to practice before trying it because I don't want to ruin a frame.
Yeah, that's a huge deal right there. Not wanting to ruin the frame, but give me 1 second. I know something's missing.
Well, I mean, if you want to hold on 1 second here.
Yeah, there's some grips in there.
Gonna scroll somewhat slowly. There's a lot to go through, but just kind of a sneak preview. Again, join the forum. I already put the link in there. You can go look for yourself anytime you want to. All kinds of traction grips going on.
All little and brand new, unused. Look like they weren't even taken out of the package.
Yeah. So if you can't stipple, that's your next best, right?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If you guys are not really into stippling, but you want a little more grip on your build, plenty of options in there. And guys, the way we're gonna do it is I'm gonna separate these, but I wanted to get them up so you can see exactly what's available. But I'm gonna separate each one into its own post so you can sign up for it, just like we used to do on the old forum. That way you can sign up for it. And I mean, what do you guys think? Think you should some of those we're just going to offer up to everybody that signs up for something like that Ranger proof keychain. That'll be up for anybody that signs up. Will be able to go into the pot for that.
I like that charging handle backplate.
Yeah, cool. Charging handle, and I think that will fit any. Got a couple of modified rear rails and front locking blocks, Glock,
and some actual Glock OEM sights.
Glock OEM sights.
Make sure you get a Sharpie on the back of that to take care of your U problem. Not every custom mod has to be difficult, folks.
Yeah. So you see some of the, you got a P80 trigger bar. Yeah. Always good to have replacements. Hey, that looks like it's a proper Gen 4.
Yep.
That's a Gen 4.
I can see it.
Housing. Is it a Gen 4? Scroll it back up real quick.
Sorry. Yeah, it's got the feet
Gen
on
4. Gen 4.
You can tell because it's got the flat face ejector and the feet on the back there. It's 4 or 5, but it's got to be 4 for our purposes. Anyway,
that's the 4. That's the 4. 5 won't work. 5 won't work. 5 is totally different. So,
and you can trust this guy because he's done the Glock Armorer's course. He does actually know what he's talking about. I swear. I promise.
All right, that threw me for a loop when I was in class, though. It's like, what do you mean the 5 won't work? And I looked at it, I was like, oh, I think I purchased one of those. Gray Gross Precision just had all slides, 220 mat and barrels, cool. 100.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I don't blame you for skipping them for the vapor, though. Not at all. Not even close.
Hawkeye, the are you saying that you can fix the trigger housing for the 5? There's no way. It uses a totally different spring, dude. If you know how to put a S spring on 5 housing, you need to show me because there's nothing to clip it to on a 5.
Well, there's one of the new Hawkeye mods. You can show us how to do that. Keep on building the build.
I want to see that one.
I'm thinking it'd be worthwhile.
I want to see that one work for sure.
Oh, Hawkeye says fix stippling mess ups. Yeah. Well,
okay.
Hey, JB Weld is your best friend, right?
Yeah, stipple mods. Yeah, you can fix those easy.
Hey, you know what?
What's hold on 1 second now. So what's Weapon?
What up?
How do you fix stipple problems? Stipple mistakes?
Sand it down smooth. I like using the cutter tip from OT Defense. You can use that sucker to just smooth right back down your stipple area and hit it again.
That's exactly the answer I was looking for.
And it depends also on how much you've recessed your stipple pattern. So obviously, on a frame, you've only got so much material to deal with. So if you stipple, recess too far, you don't have much material to work with. Your best bet is just to use that flat cutter tip to smooth down. That way you're not losing any material, and then just go back over it again.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of material to work with on the P80s, unfortunately. They're not really that thick. Speaking from someone that has blown through a frame.
And, just because I'm good at the Googles, I just threw the link to that cutting tip from OT Defense into the chat there in case anybody wants to get that, because I'm going to need one now. Hey, I mean, I got a couple extra grips to mess around with, but I don't
I
have
wonder
any
if that
practice
would
with it.
I wonder if that's going to get us shut down because it's not a gun part, so it shouldn't be able to get us shut down.
It's for my wood burner.
Yeah, it's for wood
Yeah.
burning. Yep, wood burning. Guys,
Anyway.
I just go ahead, Nas. Go ahead. You had
Well, I was
something
going to say, before it goes on too far, Blade Boy SFV here, he put, what is the proper spacing between the bottom of the slide and the top of the frame? Is there an actual measured dimension that they gave in the armorer's course?
No.
Because I mean, I haven't actually seen a specific dimension on it.
If there is, they didn't tell us. And if there is, it's not, because see, the armorer's course doesn't teach you building, and it doesn't teach you this, certain specs. It doesn't show you. So they definitely didn't go over it in class.
My answer would be I don't have an exact measurement, but the width would be about the width of your rail.
It's about right, yeah.
About the width of your rail, maybe just a little bit more. I mean, depending, obviously, our P80s do sometimes have a little bit more of a gap, but I would say about a rail, the side of the rail's width.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's about right.
And Blade Boy then commented he gave some stippling tips to all us newbies for that. Old Glock cases, yep, or plastic mugs at the dollar store. Now there's a cheap way to do it.
Or you could get first off, plastic and polymer going to be totally different.
Yeah.
I when I first got my OT defense package, I bought some of their plastic practice pieces. I used it once for a little part, and I threw them in the drawer. I was like, this is garbage. This is not going to be the same. So I never even used them. But plastic is going to be totally different than polymer. And like Weapon just said, go to Combat Armory, and I'm not giving you the link. They usually sell them for about $1 or $2 each. I know last time they had them for $1, I ordered like 20 of them.
They're the A2 AR-15 grip on CA is currently $3.
Yeah, and it's not perfect. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to be as close as you can get to a polymer 80 or a Glock mixture of polymer.
I will say I tried both the materials for the, what do you want to call it, card stock that OT Defense sells. Yeah. And the nylon is actually pretty close to the polymer. The other one they sell, I don't know what the material was, some sort of plastic, ABS plastic or something.
Yeah.
That stuff's not even close.
No.
But the
I got a couple of sheets of it. They sitting in the drawer.
The nylon they sell is pretty good, but I will give everybody a tip for that. If you do use the nylon one, scratch it up before you stipple on it. Hit it with some like 600 grit sandpaper, maybe some 300, just to rough it up a little bit, because otherwise your stipple pattern will be super shiny and won't look anything like your polymer frame.
All right, Blade Boy, I'll try and get your answer. I got my book right here. I'll look in here, but I don't think it's in here though. But I'll take a look just for you.
Fair enough.
And we're talking Gen 3 or Gen 4?
Well, let's go with Gen 3 because that's what we're
the most pertinent.
Yeah. We'll stick with that. We'll stick with that.
Anyway, while I'm looking for that, what you guys want to talk about?
Well, the ATF open letter. Good gravy.
Oh boy. So
what really trips my trigger on this, and yes, pun intended, we have an executive branch agency essentially redefining law. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, most of us here probably grew up in a time when they're like, hey, this is how government works. But just in case, I want to point out there are 3 branches of government, as you can see: legislative, Congress. They make the laws. This is it. Executive, that's our president and all the alphabet branches, ATF included. They enforce those laws. And then we have the court system or judicials that say, yeah, that's you're right in this, or it's not, etc.
We'll pass it.
Yeah. So, that's Blade Boy confirmed Gen 3, by the way. Okay. So the executive branch does not get to redefine the law. They can make some small definition changes, but and the other thing too is, the law of the land is given by this first.
Mm-hmm.
Then the laws passed by Congress, verbatim, and then underneath that comes your regulations. Okay, so if the regulations contradict the law passed by Congress, which of those two things wins? The law passed by Congress. If the law passed by Congress contradicts the Constitution, guess which one wins? So anyway, so right now we have the law as passed for defining a firearm as this. Part A,
firearm.
Mind you, these are separated into four, but two for our purposes, very distinct things. A, any weapon, including a starter gun, which will or is designed to or may be readily converted to expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. Now, note that framework, that wording, readily be converted. They're taking that from Part A. And then Part B, something different. You got your apples, now you got your oranges. They're both fruits, but okay. So the frame or receiver of any such weapon. The ATF is essentially saying we're going to mush those two things together, and anything that can be readily converted to a frame or receiver is now a frame or receiver too. Oh, no. That's not how that should work. No. So we got
to think too. What's the next step? Having to submit a form to buy a 3D printer? If by definition what they're trying to say, I mean, think about it. It's like, where does the buck stop? Where does the,
with
give them an inch, they take a mile.
They would have the buck stopping where we can't build them at all.
Well, right? I mean, part I think of the current administration's agenda is essentially making it impossible for the firearms industry to exist. No supply of firearms. Nobody can have firearms. Their goal is achieved. But then we have a disarmed populace that can't defend themselves, their family, their laws.
Just what they would like.
Constitution.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to throw it up there, Second Amendment, so we all have that fresh in our minds, okay? I know you all know, I know you all know it, but still, we're going to share this wide. We're going to share this with everybody, right? Okay.
Yeah, so, I've added that slide to my instructor's class for CCW. After I do my introduction, that's the first thing they see. Because most people that come to the class have no clue what the Second Amendment even says. Not a clue.
What, I know that. And
I mean, and I'm guilty of it before I started getting, going down the rabbit hole of building. I didn't know it either. So, I mean, it's I'm not judging. It's just that if you're going to carry a firearm and you're going to want to protect yourself and you want to claim, the Second Amendment, then you should know what it means, what it says at least, and understand it.
Now, here's another thing that is going to cause an issue for some states and commonwealths, as the case may be. There's only a couple of us. Any which way. The issue here is if we allow the ATF, an executive branch agency, to redefine a law, which they shouldn't be able to do, that then opens up the avenue of some states going, well, you know what? Now you just can't get them at all, because with the ATF's open letter to FFLs, they're saying, no, if you want to ship a blank, it's now considered a firearm. If that's now considered a firearm, some FFLs are restricted by state law as to what firearms they can sell or transfer. For example, in Massachusetts, as well as California, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. We were talking about it a little bit, you and I, Ram. The P320. You can buy them in Massachusetts if and only if they have the manual safety aspect. If they don't, then you cannot buy them. They are not on the approved firearms register for Massachusetts, which means
it's the same for California as well.
I believe, which means that if you wanted to currently, with the ATF's open letter currently taking effect until it's challenged by our judicial branch, or in our judicial branch, which is going to be time and money consuming, until that's challenged, you can't technically get a P320 blank, I'm up one, sent to Massachusetts now because it's considered a firearm. I'm sorry. The P320 isn't yet because that wasn't part of the open letter. It's only the Poly 80 and Lone Wolf ones. But
because the P320 is not a frame; it is a grip module.
Right. But the actual fire control unit itself,
FCU,
right? The FCU is the serialized part.
But that's the next step. They're going to say, oh well, now that we didn't get challenged, if we don't get challenged on the Polymer 80 frame or the Lone Wolf frame, which they specifically called those out by name, so they're really gunning for that. Yes, pun intended. Well, yes, they will, but until such time as they are challenged and a decision is made, either federally or in your local jurisdiction, that throws everything up in the air. And FFLs aren't going to try and skirt the law on that. They can't afford to be challenged in court. They can't afford to lose their FFL and their livelihood and their business.
Well, and that's where it comes in for them to get partners that have backing to be able to fight these things. When they go to the organizations like Gun Owners of America or Virginia Citizens Defense League or FPC, they partner with those, and because they can get some help with the funding, because most, I don't expect Chesapeake Pawn and Gun around the corner to file an amicus brief. I mean, they don't sell frames, but if they did, they'd just be basically ass out. Because they don't have the funding to be able to fight against the government.
Well, that's because our government has an essentially unlimited pocketbook, funded by all of us, oddly enough.
Yeah. Oddly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blade Boy.
Couple of things. Blade Boy, speaking of, he says in California, you can get a P320 used if bought from a cop. In Massachusetts, you used to be able to only get Glocks if you bought them used, private sale, not through an FFL, unless you were a Leo. But anyway, and then Hawkeye says P80 and LW Lone Wolf must be the big sellers. And I mean, yes. And, Weapon actually pointed out to us when I mentioned the open letter, the GST-9 is currently exempt from this. And that's because I believe federal judge in their local jurisdiction said, no, this doesn't fly, but it's still not applicable to all 50.
Well, they got an injunction on that particular case. Correct. So because the injunction is still in force, the ruling or the the open letter doesn't apply because it doesn't override the injunction. Right.
So folks, not to shield a particular product, but just in case, if you're looking to start, if you're new to the game, GST-9 is your big bet right now. Go for it. Whatever. They have a pretty blue one if you want to, too. I don't care.
I saw some of their colors. Some of their colors are pretty nice, but I'm not in the market. I got enough. I got one sitting on the shelf now that it isn't even open. Blade Boy, answer to your question, it's not in the book. I just fingered through the whole book. It's not in there. Well, I can give my man a call and maybe he knows the instructor that taught me. He said I could call him at any time, so maybe I'll give him a email, and maybe I'll have an answer for you next week. Let me write it down now because I will forget.
And I'll grab one of my known working good and a set of digital calipers, and I'll do a measurement just to see, and maybe if we can get a consensus, a couple other people doing the same thing, we can at least get something to aim for that way. Yeah. I've never seen a specific number on it either.
I don't know what happened to my calipers, but I would check my Deadpool build, which is perfection.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Hawkeye says PSA has Lone Wolf complete for 300, but is that a serialized FFL item or not? Because again,
right,
that comes
the Lone Wolf or the Freedom Wolf, right?
Yeah, that comes back to some jurisdictions. Yes, very good place, especially with yours, Hawkeye. Good place to start a build. Some jurisdictions, as I already mentioned, if it's not on a specific roster, you can't get it, period, which unfortunately includes all the serialized 100% builds. Yeah. So, and he says, yes, FFL. All right. So, it's, Blade Boy says, thank you, Ram. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where right now our DIY build community is kind of in a state of flux, and I think intentionally myself from the government perspective, because they want to kill the evil ghost guns. Big bunny ears on that one. I hate that term. Privately made firearm, better than nothing, but which.
Well, I'm wondering what's going to be the next thing, because this is obviously going to get kicked out. The fact that they had to double back and say, "Oh, darn it, they figured out a way around our rule, so now we have to go back." And so this is going to be a never ending thing with them, which is like we talked about when the letter first came out in August. They made it so vague and so generalized that they can go back whenever we figure, the lawsuits and everything hits them on one point, they can go back and go, oh, that's not what we meant. We meant this. And now we're going to enforce that.
They keep changing the goalposts.
They keep moving the goalposts. Exactly.
Hey, I just want to say we got a new commenter to me anyway.
I agree with you.
Welcome. And, man, this is my right. And just do background checks and age verification on all orders, and we're good. That's well enough. And I personally highly encourage that anybody that intends to buy and or carry, especially carry a firearm, gets training of some form. But that's not a statutory regulation.
Yeah. Well, and just and I'm hoping I read that correctly. And absolutely,
he's referring to the company selling frames and parts.
Well, I mean,
if I'm reading it correctly, and I tend to agree. I mean, a lot of the companies were just like, "Give me your credit card." Done. I think at least a age verification of some sort, maybe not necessarily with having to submit a copy of my driver's license or ID, because that takes away the anonymity, portion of it.
Well, then we going down a slippery slope. Everybody here and most of the people and everybody that I know of that's in the Builders Tribe chat right now, we can all pass a 4473. That's not.
Well, yeah.
That's not the point.
And it's not.
The point is you don't have the right, according to the Constitution, to check me on something I can make myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, if the laws go, okay, if I want to buy a manufacturer's firearm, I must do a 4473. No problem. But if I want to build it myself from a piece of plastic or a block of aluminum, you don't have the right under the Constitution to check me on that. Exactly. So whether we can understand there's a problem. One second now. I understand there's a problem with underage getting their hands on. I get it. However, punishing the law-abiding citizens for exercising their rights is not the answer.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying check my ID. Just a simple, are you above the age of 18? Which I happen
Well,
to not see even on a couple of websites.
A lot of the websites now are going to JSD, went to it that you can't even go anywhere on their site before you click, yes, I'm over 18. There was a couple of others. I think Midwest Gunworks now has it. There was a couple others that I went to just in the last couple of weeks that now you have to click that you're over 18. But that just relieves them of responsibility.
Right.
And I'm gonna add to this conversation. Parents, check in on your fucking kids.
How about it?
Not hard. How about be involved in your kid's life? Maybe you would know if they were building.
I'll tell you right now, my kids didn't even have unrestricted access to the internet till they were 17.
Right.
When I was your age, the internet didn't exist, and it really didn't. But anyway,
and even then, I had their computers on lock that they would have to be a hacker to get around it. So most parents see when we were little, the TV was our babysitter. You know what I mean? If the parents had something to do, they sit us down in front of a TV, watch cartoons for 5 hours while I go make dinner or do whatever. Now it's you have a cell phone, you have a laptop, you have a tablet, and it's all connected to the internet for you to go do what you want to do. And most parents, I know some parents do, but most parents don't even check their browser history or what they're doing or what the emojis mean that they're texting or anything. So
why are you texting an eggplant? Yeah.
See you at 6. Eggplant.
Well, they were. I noticed on a lot of my my police shows now they're talking about how they have emojis now. They don't even have to have a conversation. You just send a series of emojis and you get to order whatever drugs you want to get from the local drug dealer. You just send a bunch of different emojis and they know exactly what you mean. I'm like, it's just ridiculous, man. But parents are not checking up on their kids. So, but yes,
the internet was wild, wild west, and it still kind of is. But I, for one, do put some restrictions on my kids. And even when it comes to YouTube, it's like, you know what? We're going to skip watching this presenter until I can watch it with you and pause and talk about certain things.
Yeah.
Sometimes, trying to keep things age appropriate, as it were, just being mindful. Blade Boy here, he's saying, how are they going to track gun part sales or holster sales and completely ignore the whole airsoft community? Okay, you're right.
They're not actually. They're not actually. They've actually. There are some places that won't allow you to have an airsoft pistol either.
No, and here's a funny thought. Even in Massachusetts here, around Christmas time, there was a pallet of freaking Red Ryder BB guns going on. I'm thinking, you know what? I could hollow that barrel out and get a 22 rifle liner and turn that into, at the very least, a single shot 22 in a few minutes. It's readily convertible. Are they going to outlaw that next?
Yeah,
probably. I mean, it wouldn't take that much effort. It really wouldn't. But anyway,
they're. I mean, like I said, they're trying. My phone is going crazy. Let me put this on silent, guys.
That's okay.
All right. So,
Rico here commented, agree on them not having the right to check, but the felons and underage kids all through 2022 is what messes up more. It's back to that one bad apple spoils the bunch, but. And all the negative is pushed in the media to make it seem even worse than it is. Well, as Elijah Dick in there. He's the guy that the Dick and Drill's named after. If you have heard of that recently,
the little Biden that cried wolf.
What? Yeah, basically. He was a lawful and responsible gun owner, and he stopped a mass shooting in 15 seconds, I think it was. Got 10 rounds off, 8 of which hit his target at 40 yards, I think the measurement was. Good God, good shot. Good shot there. Anyway.
Oh, then there was the conspiracy theorist. Oh, he didn't really do that and blah, 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 blah. Look, did the guy get stopped? Yes. That's all that matters. Yep. How he did it is irrelevant. The fact that he did it is relevant. Because there were people talking about, oh, well, he didn't just stand and shoot. He steadied himself against a column and blah blah blah.
Good.
Okay, so exactly good. He did what he needed to do to make sure he hit his target.
Yes, he was responsible and he was willing to stand up for his fellow men, women, and other children in there. My understanding is he told people, "Get the hell out behind me while I take this out." It's like, okay, God bless you. Blade Boy said, what screwed it up was all the idiotic social media postings of people doing stupid, dangerous shit. It was absolutely illegal and flaunting it. Yes, and again, we're back to kids mostly doing things stupidly as a show off. Hey, look what I got. And I remember one video, it was a gal, she chambered around and was holding it, finger on the trigger, and then it went off negligently by her ear. Oh my God. It's like, well, yeah, you're not taking any precautions whatsoever. What do you expect is going to happen with this little hand cannon? Come on now. Yeah.
I'll pop that back up on there again. Hold on.
Oh.
It only takes 30 minutes, guys. But wait, there's more.
It takes 30 minutes to guys.
Maybe if you want a single shot that may or may not reliably go off, but if you really want something that's a better than factory, something that you can take pride in, you need to put a good long while into it, a couple hours at least. I mean, to make sure everything's smooth to perfection, working flawlessly. And then, of course, testing it properly.
And that's if you have our experience. Somebody new it's not going to happen.
So
not going to happen.
I mean, stupid is protected now. Okay, I can't be the only one here that remembers watching the Darwin Awards going, you know what? I can get behind this. Yeah, takes 30 minutes to build a lung blower. I don't know what kind of blower you're building, but
well, he said that the 9mm will blow your lungs out your back. Like, dude, what?
Thank you, Blade Boy. I'm glad I'm not the only one that remembers that.
Oh man. Lord, but yeah, this is just. We have a rough year ahead of us, landing the plane, since we got about 9 minutes left. We got a long year ahead of us. It's going to be a lot of legal battles. And one of the things we're going to do on the show going forward, the first Tuesday of every month will be dedicated to current events in the gun community. So we'll be talking about if you guys have any questions or anything you want to discuss that we haven't discussed up to, let's just say between now and the first Tuesday of February, bring all your questions in. Of course, when we have the show, we definitely address things on the fly, but we're going to definitely break down the biggest news happening, because we don't want our channel to be, we talk about news, current events every freaking week. We want to, because this is a builder's channel, we want to try and stick to building. But obviously, if something comes up like last week, we had a goal, and first thing out the gate was, did you guys hear about the letter? And that took about 20 minutes of the show. And we don't have a problem doing that, but we definitely want to cover everything in one show. We want to stay focused. So the first Tuesday of every month will be talking about current events and anything that we need to update you guys on, or you want to update us on, because sometimes we don't hear these things, and you guys, you're on the front lines. You're getting emails that I don't get. What's up?
I was just going to say, and that's why we have the forum down there too, so you can share these things when we're not live. By all means, please bring it up. Nobody can be everywhere all at once.
Absolutely.
Most nobody.
Absolutely. So, and then the second, third, and fourth, and sometimes fifth, we'll be talking about building. The third week of every month, Hawkeye is going to grace us with his custom building techniques. Anybody that has it, and again, everyone is able to be a guest on the show, whether it's voice only, video and voice. It's totally up to you. But if you have something to offer, guys, please tune in. And if you're not up for that, the chat is always open. Rico, definitely good to see you, my dude. Thanks for joining us. And we have a lot of people. If you haven't joined the forum, join the forum. You see the address on the bottom there. And
it don't cost nothing, and I don't censor what you're gonna say. Well,
as long as you're not disrespectful.
Yeah, as long as you're not a Nazi, it's all good.
Yeah.
Sorry, but there's one limit.
No cussing folk out. You know, everybody has their own opinion. No judging. We do our best to not be a judgmental, a free judgmental zone, because everybody has different experiences. So if you're contemplating following us and walking with us, we'd love to have you.
Well, and that's another great thing about this right here is we all have slightly different viewpoints, but we still respect one another's rights to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, straight up hack jobs. Yes, Blade Boy, that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Aim for that first-time quality. Talk with your fellow builders to ensure that you can take pride in your work and enjoy the thing for generations to come so that we can pass them on to the next people in line. Yes.
Next week, we're giving everything away next week. So go to the forum. As of tomorrow, everything will be separated in that folder. Sign up under it, under the whatever you want to be into the drawing on. We're going to ask guys to limit to 3 choices.
That makes sense.
That way everybody has a fair shot at winning something. So pick your top 3, guys.
And I just shared the direct link to that particular forum again to keep your eyes on there. But give Ram the night to separate them as he wants. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to separate them, but I wanted to make sure they were up there so you guys could see it. It's been a busy week. I didn't get a chance to do everything I wanted to do, but at least I had taken the pictures. There is one more item for sure: a AR receiver that's being donated. I will get a picture of that up there. You guys can sign up for that. And I might even, let me think about that before I say it. I don't want to say it and then can't do it. So,
well, while you're taking a pause here, Darth Dev, I told a coworker this is my support group. Yes, sir. And you're always welcome.
We support you, sir. Yep. We support you 100%.
That's the way to do it.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
I got a couple of items in my future build box in there that I'd be willing to donate as well. I don't have builds for them yet. They're just sitting in a box. So if somebody can use them,
don't let them collect dust and get them out the door before the ATF declares another rule change.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about the brace situation, but I'm at least 6 months out from building those anyway. So hopefully by the time I start building them, something will have changed and they've been whatever their rule is will be reversed.
Here's hoping. We unfortunately, when the executive branch isn't playing fairly, we have to rely on the judicial branch to eventually say yay or nay. It's the waiting part is where we're all at with so many things. So we just really have to wait it out, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and well,
one of the things that's pissing me off is that people are not respecting the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, hey, this is what it is. And then they go, okay, we hear you, but we're not going to listen to you. We're going to circumvent what you said. We're going to make everything a sensitive place. Since you tell us we have to give concealed weapons permits or CCWs or whatever abbreviation you got where you are, we're just going to make everything a sensitive place. So you can't even carry it outside your house. Like all of those people that were in Times Square the other night, guess what? They were all potential victims because they made Times Square a sensitive place. You can't carry, even if you have a concealed permit, you couldn't carry in Times Square when the ball was dropping.
Hawkeye just added, it's all about the hassle. And I think that's exactly it, because individually we can't afford to spend time in court. We can't afford to deal with this. The government has a bottomless pocketbook for all intents and purposes. So they'll just keep hammering on it until nobody can afford to fight back anymore. So
yeah,
we'll get there.
I had to go to the courthouse today, and I was kind of pissed off because I couldn't carry, because I don't have a vault in my car right now, and it was for a charge that stemmed from 2008. So I'm trying to figure out, as well as, you guys know I was in Spain last month, and when I came back, I went to get my global entry interview, and the guy says, "Oh, you have a charge for you have a failure to appear from October of 2008." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You have a failure to appear. We can't approve your application." I'm like, "Wait a minute. How many 4473s have I done since 2008? And no one has ever said I had a failure to appear." So anyway, fast forward to today, I go down there to figure out what it is. It was a stupid. I'm trying to figure out how they did it. They issued a capias for a failure to appear on a reckless driving ticket. And I'm like, my lawyer was there apparently because he was on the paperwork, but then they dismissed it in January of 2009, but none of it's on record that they dismissed it. But the 4473 never showed it.
So the Office of the Inspector General found, I think it was a little over 6 million records being lost or not updated through the NICS system, some of which were things like that. Others were, this person committed a felony and shouldn't possess anything.
Well, it's a good thing that it's been dismissed. So yeah, that would have sucked if it was still outstanding. And I've done several NICS checks, but the fact that all of this out here, I mean, there's so many people that are in flux that don't know they're in flux because these systems aren't talking to each other and aren't updated. So I could have been, coming back from Spain and been held because, oh, wait a minute, there's a warrant for your arrest because you no-showed in 2008. But no one said nothing when I went out of the country. When I come back in the country is when I find out.
Right. And, that also can impugn your 14th Amendment rights for due process. So,
well, I'm glad they dismissed it and everything. So now I got to take care of sending that paperwork up to New York. But guys, if you haven't done a 4473, if you haven't done a background check, go to your local police department and make sure your record is clear, because it might not be. And I had no clue that this was even an issue.
I've been there. I got a ghost ticket many years back. So essentially, no stop ticket, super illegal. But a cop had written me a ticket based on my license plate, coming back to my name. Wrote me a ticket. Obviously, I didn't know about it. So sure enough, about a year later, I'm driving down the road. I get pulled over. And, hey, man, I just wanted to let you know you got a warrant out for your arrest for failure to appear for a ticket. I'm like, wait a minute, what? So, yeah,
that just happened to me
regularly. Yep.
That just happened to me out working, because my wife's car is what I used to do Uber, and it's just registered in her name. They sent me the ticket, and had I not paid that ticket, she would have been held responsible for it, and she wasn't even in the car.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
Yep.
Anyway, guys,
I had to wake my wife up in the middle of the night to come and get me because they wouldn't let me drive the car back home. Yeah, they gave me they suspended my license too.
That sucks.
Nice due process there. Anyway, so hang in there, guys. It will be challenged. I guarantee you it will be challenged.
Yeah.
But
and to answer the question in
Well, I know there's already
in the description
3 states that have filed suits.
ATF
said that they're not going to join in on it. So
ATF can't deal us a death blow on, they would have to figure out a way to, one, be a branch that can create laws, two, be able to change the Constitution, and three, they need a whole lot more agents to police this whole thing. So,
well, they did just get a budget increase for the ATF in the latest omnibus bill.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens with all of this, guys. We'll keep you posted. We're gonna have next week's show. We are going to be talking about is using a 100% frame being a sellout. So that should be an interesting conversation because there's a lot of 100% frames out there. Speaking of which, dude, have y'all seen the Palmetto State Armory 5.7?
Oh, we were just talking about that the other day, Ram.
Dude,
that thing looks dope.
Man. They have a 5.7 frame and slide that you can get for like $500, which is a vast discount from an FN 5.7, which is like $1,000.
That sounds wonderful, but they won't ship it to this state.
Yeah, I think the FN 5.7s are like $1,200.
Yeah, they're at least $1,000, $1,200. Yeah. So, but guys, check out the Palmetto State Armory build. It's 100% build. So do you
remember what it's called again?
FFL. The Rock. The 5.7 Rock. 5.7 Rock.
Yep.
So, but we'll be talking about 100% versus 80% next week, guys. Hope you tune in. Join us. We thank you for coming tonight. All of you that are watching on the replay, if you've watched this far, give us a thumbs up. If we provided some value, join us next week. All that good stuff. And give me 1 second. Let's do that. We're gonna take a blast from the past from the previous channel. And did you hear it yet? But yeah, thanks you guys for coming, because without you, there is no us. We definitely appreciate it. And as a point, the show Plain Jane versus Buy or Build, that show has been watched over 780 times, guys. So we definitely appreciate all of the views.
Excellent.
Oh man, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night, everybody. See y'all next week.